Thank you. I know that this is the last week before final exam, so everyone is a bit nervous at this point. It's also why I wanted to bring in someone who was more interested in entertaining than my usual speeches and lectures. Utta's been a friend for the past couple of years now, and we're very proud, Tracy and I, to know her and to be able to work with her. And I think her experiences are really telling about someone who could move out of a sort of office position into being one of the top climbers in the world. And I'm glad that she could come and just share some of her experiences. So please, everyone, welcome Ms. Uta.
Yedita, hello. My name is Flora, which means butterfly, but everybody now calls me Uta Ibrahimi. I was born in Gilan, and after I finished my school, I came to Pristina for studying. I did finish for economy and marketing. I did my master's degree as well in marketing. I've spent 12 years working in the marketing industry. When I decided to leave everything, that was one of the big change of my life, and start to do something else, which is mountaineering plus guiding in the mountain. But before I will keep talking about my project, Alya Himalaya, I will just show you a short documentary that it was done from a few friends from Macedonia, and then after I'm gonna keep talking.
We're more or less alone. It means there are no other people up there cheering for us. In the beginning, I really hated running. I found it really boring. But I needed some more training when I started preparing for bigger mountains. Being a girl living in Kosovo and trying to climb big mountains is not a common thing. By having climbed 8,000 or so far, I'm slowly changing that mentality and motivating other girls to reach their dreams. Running for me is not anymore only training for physical, but also for mental training. It is the only time of the day when I think of nothing. Just enjoy breathing and being able to sweat. That makes me feel so good. It is not like competing with others or competing with the mountains. We are part of this nature. We are part of the mountains. When I'm up there, I understand much more about myself. I understand much more about the concept of life.
Thank you. Actually, this documentary is part of the big campaign which is now happening in the world about promoting the gender equality and about supporting women's rights. This is her story. So now some of my friends from Macedonia, they are shooting some of the girls in the Balkans. So they choose me to be part of this documentary. And this is like just the beginning, because in the end it's going to be like a big documentary longer than this, with few other girls as well, which are as a role models for their countries. Okay, so basically I'm going to talk about how my experience in climbing big mountains began. This is my project with Alya Himalaya, which means that my plan is to climb all 8,000 meters peak in the world. There are 14 8,000s, which are the highest peak of the world, and they are all on Himalayas, between Nepal, Pakistan, Tibet, and India. So till now, I climbed only 4. It's a long journey in front of me. The pink one is the one that I climbed, and the gray one are the mountains that I am aiming to climb till the end of 2023. This is how I started with the big mountains, which this was the first in my experience. This was the first big mountains, Mont Blanc. We climbed together with a group, Alpine Club from Kosovo, from Pristina. We have been 10 people, 3 from them girls. So we became 3 girls on the top of Europe. So this was in 2015. And somehow, when I climbed this mountain, I understood that I can do more. And people back home, everybody from friends and family and everybody else was so happy, because somehow we started to create a new history in the alpinism. Till that time, no one was at high mountains, mainly mountaineering in Kosovo and also in the Balkans is quite connected with the male, and it's also dominated from the males. So for me, when I started after Mont Blanc, when I started my project to climb big mountains, it wasn't just to climb mountains and to come back home, but at the same time, somehow I felt like I should fight, and I should tell people that also, being a girl, you can climb big mountains and you don't need any support from the men. I didn't know this before I started. And then by the time, I saw that there are so many problems on the gender equality, and from now, maybe now like 3-4 years, I'm working a lot about to raise the awareness for the gender equality and environment and some other social issues. So after I came back from Mont Blanc, till the time I was hiking around Kosovo, Albania, and Macedonia, and some other peaks in Slovenia. But after having that experience, because for me that was the big one, I decided to keep training and keep climbing. Even though like we have been with a group of some other people, we couldn't really fit together in a group. So I decided to go by myself and train by myself, and then at the same time to climb mountains by myself. This is the change that I did. After I left the company, I used to work for Ogilvy, the marketing agency, Carota, maybe some of you know already. I worked there for 7 years. I was, for 3 years, I was an accountant, and then after I became a director of the company, I had a good position. So for everybody, and especially my family, to leave such a good work with a good salary and to start doing a new business and to do something completely else was really shocking. Nobody really supported me, because it's like, you know, like I left a good position, good work at the office for going in the mountains. So really nobody understood me, why I want to do this and what is my aim. But I did what I did. This was one of the first trips. I took my bike and I left for 2 weeks. I was just going around Kosovo and Albania and Montenegro. I was mainly staying at a family's house and eating whatever they were eating and just going around trying to understand what I want to do next, because I don't want to go back and work at the office. I want to do something which is more in the nature. Somehow living in Pristina and having quite active life, you just feel like you need to reconnect yourself with the nature, because we lose the sense of who we are and what we want to do when we grow up, because I still believe that I'm not grown. So after I came back from this trip, and these are some of the pictures from other trips as well. This is in Jaravica, the highest peak in Kosovo. This is in Rugova. So I did some hiking, cycling, Via Ferrata. So I came back, and then I thought I should do something which I can still live by earning some money, and then at the same time explore the nature and do whatever I feel. So I created my company, Butterfly Outdoor Adventure. This is not the logo, it just goes with the Alya brand. Which also Chad is helping me with a cycling guide. So through Butterfly, I am guiding in the mountain when I'm in Kosovo, doing hiking trips or cycling trips or hiking and yoga and anything else, whatever people wants to do, mainly in outdoors. So for me, this was good because for 3 years, 2.5 years now, I have my company, which I can earn money just for food and live in Pristina. And then at the same time, I'm training for my expedition on Himalaya. These are some of the pictures from the group. And yeah, very important thing is also that I mainly am guiding a lot of journalists who are coming to see Kosovo. So then this is for me not just working, but also promoting Kosovo, because I really enjoy outdoors in Kosovo, and we are very lucky to have so many options and easy approach to the mountains and many other things. So I feel like I should do something for my country, and this is one of the aim that I want to work in the outdoors, because now Balkans will be very soon, and it's already started to be a top destination for visiting. So we should have, we need to be prepared. We should have many more people who works in the mountain and who not only guiding in the mountain, but cycling and more other stuff. This is one picture from my first guided trip. These have been all mainly journalists. I did a guide with them in Via Ferrata, and then after that it was the first story on National Geographic about Kosovo, so it was a picture of me on Via Ferrata. I really wanted to challenge myself with something else, which is not anymore climbing on Europe, but I wanted to do something bigger. So, of course, Everest was one of my biggest dreams, but it was at the same time, I never thought that I'm going to be able to go and climb, not only because of physical, but also because of, we don't have so much support. And climbing Mount Everest is quite expensive because you need to pay for food, it's an expedition of 2 months. So you need to pay for so many expenses. Plus the permission to climb mountains, you need to pay the government of Nepal at least $11,000. So it's a big project. In the beginning, I started to train. It was October 2016. And then I was training for March 2017. I started to train and I thought, I'm going to manage, I'm going to fight, I'm going to find the money, I'm going to train by myself, and then I'm going to go and climb Mount Everest. In the beginning, we have been 6 people in a team. There have been 4 boys and 2 girls. And after the team, they had a meeting with some other people from Albania who climb Mount Everest. And they told that Mount Everest is so difficult and blah, blah. So then they came back and they decided that they're not going to take girls in the group. So they told me, one of the guys, he told me that he's taking me out from the team because he doesn't take any responsibility for me. Somehow, that was the first, for the first time, I saw that in Kosovo, this is a big problem, because I never understood this from before. I mean, normally I go out with my friends and we don't have this kind of issue, who is the girl and who is the boy. So I just decided to go by myself and to find other options. So that time I met Jimmy Begea, which is an alpinist from Albania, and he climbed Mount Everest 6 years ago. And I told him that I would like to climb Mount Everest, and he said, I'm trying to find a girl who will be the first on top of the Everest, but I need to understand if you are strong, if you can do this. So he gave me like 1 month time. He said you should run 100 kilometers per week, and this has to be your pace, and you have to climb this mountain with 20 kilograms bag, and blah, blah, blah. So I did all of them. And he said, okay, I'm going to support you. And then he supported mainly with training, but also he helped me to do fundraising. So I started my training, everything, running, cycling every day, 2 times per day. I just wanted to make sure that I feel strong enough, so I will not disappoint people who are investing time and money on my expedition. And then at the same time, I really wanted to prove that being a girl, even though some of the men here do not think the same way I do, being a girl, it doesn't mean that we have to stay home and do homework, but we can also climb mountains. So somehow that pushed me a little bit more. So every time I think about that moment, I really thank to all the people who didn't believe on my dream, because by them not believing on my dream, I pushed myself more. Then I did some more training on rock climbing, ice climbing. And then first expedition on Himalaya was 2016, December, when I went for training. I had 5 weeks, so that was the second test. I had to climb 3 big mountains, 6,000 meters peak, and then the guide who was climbing with me, he had to write a report to the leader of my expedition that I am good in the altitude, I am strong, I am physically and mentally ready to go for the other big expedition. Because, if I will have to do the same thing again back, maybe I will not go to Everest first, because Everest is the highest, and of course it's quite difficult. So normally other people, they go in some smaller mountains like 8,100, 8,200, and then they go to 8,800, which is almost 9,000. So first you go and try yourself, and then you go to the top. But because of the fundraising and because of the support, financial support, I had to go to the biggest one. These are some of the pictures of other preparation. Normally, as you see, we walk mainly in snow and ice with the rope. This is one picture from Everest. This is Khumbu region, because some of the, from base camp to Camp 1, there are big xeroxes and crevasses, which are like crevasses. So to pass from one side to the other side, we use the ladders. This is another picture from Manasulu, from the second expedition. This is Camp 4. This is from Everest. Another one. This looks like a cake. Actually, these are these here are crevasses. Like it can be maybe like more than 100 meters, like a big hole down, and so sometimes we either choose the way to go like this, or if it's not possible, we use the ladders from here to here. So then that's why you saw the other picture. This is another picture from Choyu, from my last expedition last month. And another one. And this is where we sleep most of the time for a 2 months expedition. This is my home. And then the expedition to Mount Everest lasted around 2 months. The reason why 8,000 meters peak takes so much time is because we need to acclimatize our body. Maybe all of you know that in the high altitude there is a lack of oxygen. So the reason why we go slowly is because we have to adapt our body on that lack of oxygen. So that's why we go slowly. And then till we reach base camp, we spend around 12 days. Mainly base camp is like we walk through the villages, because in Nepali there are no roads. The only way that we approach mountains are first with the airplanes, and then after we walk for like 12 or 13 days to reach the base camp. And then the base camp is more or less the same picture that we saw. It's something like this. This is Camp 1. So there are tents of many other teams. There is a kitchen, because we share a kitchen. There is someone who cooks for us on base camp, and then on higher camps we cook by ourselves. But on base camp we have quite good food and other people who works for the expedition. That's why it's also expensive, because we need to pay people and food. And then we go with the rotation. We start from base camp to Camp 1 and then go down. And then the other day we go up to Camp 1, we sleep. And then the other day we go again to Camp 2, and then we go all the way down. Because we need to touch one altitude. Let's say we go from 5,300 to 6,100. And then we go down, and then again sleep, and then again go up, and then down. So this is like a rotation. It's like a process. So every time you go one camp higher, you touch one camp, and then you go one camp lower and sleep. And then the other day you go again higher, and then you go a little bit down and sleep. So that's why it takes a lot of time. And nowadays there are climbers in the world which are aiming to climb. They're doing fast ascent, or it's like a competing who is going not only first but who is going faster. But for me, for now, on 8,000 meters peak, that's not my aim, because my aim is to climb all the 8,000s and be safe and come back home. Only I did the last peak that I summited is Amadablam. Maybe I have a picture here. No, this is I want to show the picture because it's one of the most beautiful. This one. It's one of the most beautiful in Khumbu and also in Himalaya. So that one I climbed for 6 days, which is another like a not record for the world, because other people they climb for like 1 day, but for myself. So after I climbed Mount Everest, I came back home. I'm gonna show a video. This is the video from the summit. You see the difference between Sherpa and me. He is still talking and I'm like, oh. So that was the video from the summit. After I came back home, I remember that at the airport there had been maybe like 300 people who were waiting for me to come back. And I really felt so proud what I did. And then I started to see that people who haven't been supporting me till that time, they started to support me, and they changed their mind that a girl cannot go to the top. And then I decided to do something else. So I thought, why not to climb other mountains, other big mountains? So it was a little bit, before I started Utalaya project, I had to think a lot about my future and my life, because climbing 8,000 meters peak, you are away from home always. You have to train a lot, and then you have time to do anything else, just working and training. And at least it can last till 7 years from now. But then by seeing how people were proud what I did, and by understanding that a lot of other people in Kosovo and girls, they really need another role model, which is not only, it's not that I have something against singers or actors, but I still believe that people in Kosovo, they need to have another role model, which is alpinism, or which is mountaineering, or which is something in the nature. So I do a lot of presentation in schools, and mainly with young girls, because for me it was really difficult to fight with a man in the mountain. And I also have to share this one as well. I met the other team who summited Everest 2 hours after me. The same guy who said that he is not taking responsibility for me. So with this, I'm happy that they summited as well and they are safe. And at the same time, I'm happy that he decided to take me out from the team, because now I'm stronger, and now I still climb big mountains. After Everest, at the same year, I summited another mountain, which is Mount Manasulu. It's the 8 from the 8,000 meter peak. Again, it's the same like Everest, it's just a little bit smaller. 2018, I summited Lhotse. This is Mount Lhotse. On the back, this one is Everest. It's on the same region. And then just a month ago, I summited Mount Choyu. So for 16 months, I summited 8,000 meters peak, which is a huge result, not only for the alpinism in Kosovo, but also for alpinists in the world. I know some of the, of course, people who doesn't have so much information, it's not a big deal. But for other people who are climbing big mountains, it's quite a huge achievement to summit 8,000s within 16 months. So my project for the future is to keep climbing all 8,000 meters peak, and at the same time promote healthy living, raise awareness about the gender equality, especially. This is my favorite issue, and my favorite thing that I am keep fighting about this, and also about promoting Kosovo and Albania, because as I told you, I also work as a guide, but at the same time, I think that we in Kosovo, we have beautiful mountains and a lot of opportunities to develop tourism. So, and then at the same time, this is the future. I really try, and 2 times per week, I spend time in schools with kids. This is a picture from the exhibition last year. I had an exhibition at the museum with the pictures from Everest, but I also try to talk with kids and share my experience at the same time, and to tell them that they are the future and they can be a big change for this society. I know it's really, sometimes when I think about Kosovo and when I'm far from here, this time I was in expedition for 3 months and I really missed home and Kosovo and my people. But every time I'm back, I see so many problems, starting from gender equality, from environment, pollution. And I think that all together, sometimes I feel very weak and sometimes I feel strong that we can do something. But I think that you, all of you, you are the next generation. You can do a big change. And if you work a lot and if you chase your dreams. So this is all what I have to say. I would like maybe to be more interactive so you can ask me if you want to know something more about. I'm here. Thank you. Yeah.
You had days where you wanted to quit because I heard we had days where you wanted to quit this project because I heard there are many people dying, not in climbing, but where they're coming back to the last base. So were there days where you wanted
I till now there are 40 people in the world who summited all 14 8,000s. Only 40, which is like nothing. And how many people lives in this world? And there are 3 girls. It's a very difficult project. Not only because of dying. There are so many people dying. On Everest, I have seen 5 people who died just the day before I was going up. And then it was another Slovak climber. He died. He died at the moment that I passed him. So, of course, I feel bad because while I'm climbing and when I see other people dying, I feel like I could be that person in just few seconds. Because you, in the high altitude, you cannot really manage so many things because your brain is working so slowly, your body is working very, very slowly. So there are a lot of other altitude sickness which we cannot manage. Nobody can do anything for you. There are people who climbed like father and son, and father died and son could do nothing, or the opposite, or friends, or whatever. Nobody can do anything for you. Till Camp 4, it's a little bit easier and it's more like manageable because it's till 8,000 meters peak, it's again, But then going to the summit, it's also one rope, fixed rope, and everybody is on that line. If you have a problem and if you want to go down, you cannot go down because that time everybody is going up. So one of the main reasons why people die is because they want to go down, but they cannot go because we use only one rope. So then if you want to go down, we have some gears. One of them is Jumar to go up, and then you have to disconnect and then connect, and that process takes a lot of energy. So that's why everybody goes like this on the same line, and everybody goes down on the same rope, but on the same time. But I think that's why I train a lot here. I do run every day, and I train CrossFit every day. So I really want to be physical, very, very strong. And then at the same time, during the weekends, I climb mountains, and I think I do a lot to be physically strong. But somebody has to do it, and I feel like I am doing this not only for myself, but I'm doing this for my country as well, because through my expedition, I promote Kosovo, and I promote Albania, and I promote Balkans as well. Not so many girls from the Balkans climb big mountains. Only one Slovenian, she climbed 8,000s, and others, maybe one, or like, for example, in Serbia, there is one girl, only one, who summited Mount Everest. In Macedonia, there is only one girl. In Croatia, there are 3. In Kosovo, we have 2, which is a great thing. Yeah.
Hi. Thanks for having this discussion with us, and I just want to thank you and tell you that what you have done is incredibly, incredibly impressive, and what you're continuing to do. And I can resonate to you to some extent because me and my friends we hike from time to time, and reconnecting with nature is something that is really incredible. But the moment that you come back home and you go back to your routine is like that sort of buzzkill. And being able to shift from a hobby to a lifestyle must have taken a lot of courage. And I suppose that it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So what was the process of you really deciding that that is what you want to do? Was there a specific thing that you held on to when you decided?
I was doing hiking since maybe 9 years ago, but like just hiking for a week for Sunday. And I used to play basketball for for Drita in Ceylan. So I was quite sportive all of my life. But when I moved to Pristina for my studying, I was more focused on, doing school, and then I started to work. And working in the marketing agency, you spend a lot of energy, and not only time consuming, but a lot of energy. And then at some point, I was going for hiking, but then, at the office, I was like, oh, when is coming the Sunday? Because I really want to go hiking. So I wasn't really focused anymore into working. And then I saw that, we are living a life, not very qualitative life, just living. And my father always kept telling me that time. He said, I don't know how it's in English. Theke jetën do të me jetu jo me harxhu. Not just to spend your life, but you have to live your life. Because I was always really busy doing a lot of work. And maybe in the marketing agency, life is so active. So I was the first to open the office at 8 in the morning and the last to close the office. And working with the creative and with the ads, and it's just so much work and so much of I thought oh, what am I doing here? I don't want to spend my time just working for money or for campaigns. It was really fun, but then at some point you really need to do something which helps your body to be healthy and your mind to be healthy. And also we know the other quote, if you are healthy in your body, you will be healthy in your mind too. So I just decided to leave. I just took my bike for 2 weeks, and that was one of the best moments in my life. I have seen many people living in the villages, in Albania especially, living in the villages, eating with them very simple life, just bread and cheese, and just understanding much more about myself, my people. Because sometimes we forget who we are, and we forget what we want to do for the next, 10 years or 2 years or few months, or because I felt lost somehow. So then this is what I did. And when I came back, I had much more, I was clear on my mind. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go hiking in the mountains, not only weekends, but I'm going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm earning money by guiding in the mountains. And we have we have people who are visiting Kosovo, but we don't have so much guides. So ju inkurajoj qikave me punu guida. So shumë fun. Edhe djamve, falni, po qikat I kam për qefi.
Do you ever find yourself being motivated by your ego to finish your climbs? And if not, how do you avoid that? Because I really find that as a personal problem in my life. My ego for being my own moderator.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, we lie if we say that we're not ego, and all of us, we have a little bit of that. But climbing in Himalayas and spending so much time far away from your people and without any communication, without internet, without phone, sleeping in a tent, cold, alone, I just feel like mupachsu. I don't know how is the word in English. Clarify. Yeah, you are more in peace with yourself, and then when you are in peace with yourself, you are really in peace with the other part of the world. So actually, that's why I really like to run in the morning, because that's really the only time that I really don't think about anything else. I just run, and then when I'm back, I start my day in a very nice mood. Today I run in the morning, even though it wasn't that good. This is how I motivate myself. We have like selflessness and stuff like that, but you also saw one part of the documentary when I said that in the mountains we don't have a public, nobody really is cheering for us, so we have to push ourselves a lot. But you have to find something which, like a driving force. For me, it's not only to climb, but it's also really, really important. And I really push myself when I think about promoting my country, and when I think about fighting against the gender issues in Kosovo. So these are two of the things that really push me hard. Yeah.
And that's very inspiring.
Faleminderit.
I really appreciate what you do with your hard work. I just wanted to know, how supportive is our country for this thing you're doing? I mean, you're doing this because you love it, but also you're promoting our country. I want to know, in the financial aspect, is our country supportive enough, or you do it all on your own?
Actually, no, it's not. They never even invited me to say hi, or to say thank you, or to say bravo. Never. I had a meeting with the president of Albania, Ibrahimi, and also with the mayor of Tirana and mayor of Gjilan, but none of them never met me. And I don't know why. I mean, I think also one of the reasons is because I fight against corruption as well. So they think that, so we're not inviting her because I used to write on Facebook sometimes about politics. So now I don't write anymore, but I just talk. It's not that I do really care about meeting them, because I think at some point, if they are not on the position where they are now, they will be really nobody. And we will be people who did a change in the society. Mainly my support is coming from private companies. I also had a campaign on Kosovo ideas, so that was another thing that really pushed me hard to train and to keep with my project, because I could manage to fundraise 9,000 euros for 40 days, which was quite big. And I was surprised as well, and also people from the Kosovo ideas, they were surprised, because I was also having so much doubt, because I didn't really know if people will give me money to go and climb mountains, It's hard because sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes they kept telling me, how do you want me to give you money? And if you die there, I will feel responsible. So, like these kind of mentality things. But mainly private companies. And on Everest, it was half of the budget, it was from the government of Kosovo, because they had to do it. And then they said, okay, we're going to give you as well. It happened me to be there, not because they wanted to support me. It's hard, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna fight, and I still have a lot of energy for the next 5-6 years. And maybe people from the government, they will be more aware in the future to support sports. And actually, they don't see alpinism as a sport. I mean, they don't see it like that. They are now, I just saw some news, which is great. They are supporting judo, and which is great. But there are some more people who are doing sport. It's not only judo who is making us feel proud. Of course, they won medals, but in alpinism, we don't have any medals. So we also need support, even if we're not bringing home medals. Yes, I have 4 certificates, but nobody cares about that. Thank you. Does anybody else want to know something more? Because of what?
Do you ever feel like when you train outside in Kosovo?
Yeah.
Do you feel like your training is affected because of pollution?
Yeah, I am quite scared recently, actually, because I don't know. I hear so many. I just read some news about people dying and like statistics as well. So it's just crazy. Yesterday I took a bus. I went to Prizren. I ran 23 kilometers in the mountains. And I came back at 5 o'clock, and then I stayed home. So if it's gonna be like this, I'm gonna just go somewhere else. Here is so bad. It affects a lot, of course. And yeah, and I open a discussion on social media about what we can do, because I go around either walking or with my bike, but I never use a car. And when I see people driving a car alone, I get really mad, because this is how, we know that it's not only cars, we know that it's because of the coal and it's because of the obilage, but I still believe that we can do some changes by switching from car to walking or from car to bike. By the way, I have 10 bikes, so I am offering for free for people to use it instead of cars. But I don't know. It's just so bad. Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, thank you for coming here. Thank you for coming. I wanted to ask you a question. What makes you stay in Kosovo? Since, I guess you're better off internationally, and what you do is more appreciated in other countries, I bet. So I think you have lots of other opportunities, but what makes you stay in Kosovo and still promote Kosovo, even though you don't get much support out of your country?
Yeah, I know. I had a chance to move, many times till now. I think I'm gonna start working. I have some offers to work as a guide on some of the other mountains, so I'm gonna keep working in other mountains as well. But I really think that we should stay here, and we should do the change. So because of the love for this country and for the people, I really want to come back and support my people. Yeah, I know. And many people are doing to me the same question, but I'm gonna try a little bit more. Thank you.
I know a lot of you have class now, so but thank you so much, Uta, for coming. And just to put a plug for her company, I work for her too. If you ever want to go up into the mountains, either hiking or by bikes, just contact us.
And by the way, I'm also employing someone who wants to do the internship on the company, so 4 hours per day. Not employing, but just working together. The company's website is butterflyoutdoor.com, and I also have my blog utalaya.com, which you can read about my expeditions, and also I publish a lot of pictures from the trips because I cannot really present all of them, but there are some good pictures as well. And my Instagram is Ibrahimi.